Everyone, I Ridhivir Raj, nuclear engineering student and your Parmanu Mitra is here with one another video. As nowadays there is one site which is gaining popularity and its name is electricity map. We just have to type the electricity map in the Google and the very first site, the electricitymap.org, we will open. It shows the CO2 intensity released per kilowatt hour from various countries. Now when we open it, as I live in India, you can see the map of India is showing. It shows the CO2 intensity equivalent per kilowatt hour release from every country. It's a Danish startup company and still many countries intensity has to be added. You can see that the gray area, the CO2 intensity is not confirmed or they are adding it, and there are different intensity levels like the yellow from the green to the brown. Now, if I talk about India, 70% of the electricity of India comes from coal power plant and 3% of electricity comes from the nuclear. We can see that how in Maharashtra we have the nuclear power plant Tarapur and it produces 2% of the total electricity being provided in Maharashtra. If I talk about that green, it has a less CO2 emission. It's the Himachal Pradesh state of India and it produces most of its electricity from the hydro. We can see that how we can use nuclear energy as it is the second low CO2 emission fuel along with renewable to produce less CO2 intensity emissions. Now if I talk about some of the countries which are producing their electricity from the nuclear and the carbon intensity is so less. The very first example is the France. When I tap on the map of France, we can see that it's showing 72 grams of CO2 and approximate 65% of electricity of France being come from the nuclear, and it's so less. If I talk about different countries, more greener countries, when I tap on the map of Sweden, we can see that how nuclear is being produced 30% approx electricity of Sweden and nuclear along with the hydropower. Like it's the best example, nuclear with the renewables is being produced. If I tap on the map of Finland, the same thing we can see, nuclear with some percent of wind, coal and hydropower producing its electricity. If I talk about different countries and when I tap on the Canada and tap on the Ontario, we can see that how 25 grams of carbon intensity is being produced and most of its electricity produced with the hydro and nuclear. So in this way we can see different countries are there. Its intensity will be increases as the CO2 has been increased. It can be shown like 0 to 200 to 400 to 600. There are many other countries who are still adding and the states who are still adding the electricity being produced by different countries and the emissions by it. You can see that how the intensity level will be increased. In India also different states are there like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh is there and different countries. So this map is very informative to show the CO2 intensity across different countries, and it also shows that if we adopt nuclear with the renewable, it will not only helps to produce the cleaner electricity but also it reduces the carbon intensity per kilowatt hour released, and we know that nuclear energy is not only produce the cleaner energy but it also used in different applications from the production of radioisotopes to the food irradiations. So by adopting nuclear energy, we are just developing and enhancing sustainable future. Thank you.